Joe Frager here with Shelley Farley, who is running for the Senate on the Republican side, New York State. We wish her, of course, great luck and great success. We just got back from the Hamas tunnels, and we came right away to Hebron, and we're standing on the steps leading to Hebron, to the Cave of the Patriarchs. So let's first talk about the Hamas tunnels. What did you think about that?
The Hamas tunnels were extremely extensive. I was surprised at how large they were, and I think the training facility that the Israelis have built seems very impressive.
It was a very impressive site. It was an army base in the Negev, and we had a real commander who explained everything in detail. The kites that you see in the New York Times that look innocent actually have Molotov cocktails attached to them, so that when the kite flies over, it drops its Molotov cocktail on the Israeli soldiers.
But I was also impressed that he said that those kites were always being sent out by children, and that they refused to hurt the children because the children really had no idea what they were doing.
Right. The Israeli soldiers refused to shoot the children, refused to shoot the women, and there were also many guns among the men, and they would come out after the group might leave. The guns would come out in full force and start shooting at the Israeli soldiers. But these are not protesters. These are terrorists, and this was all done to prevent Israel from building the fence, which goes deep into the ground, to prevent the tunnel making that has caused Israel such trouble and such pain. And the fence that is almost completed, which you're not hearing about in the newspapers, Hamas is trying to fight with this action. And what do you think about that?
I actually thought that the wall was a very unique technological idea to prevent there being any tunnels. So not only does it's so wide, deep, and strong that it would be impossible to tunnel through, it also had a lot of sensors that would allow you to see if somebody was tunneling around it, underneath it, and I thought that was a creative approach.
Right, and you're not reading about it in the newspaper, so we're talking about it here on Arad Sheva, because this is what should be read in the newspapers. We're now at Hebron, on the steps on the way to the Cave of the Patriarchs. Go ahead, Elron.
Donald Trump said that he's going to cut the money from UN because the money that we are hearing today, that the money going to Hamas.
Well, I think that actually the Taylor Force Act is a great start, that it prevents funds going to the families of terrorists, who are killing Americans, Israelis, really killing anyone we shouldn't be rewarding. And I think that was wonderful that it finally passed in March, and I support that action.
Absolutely. As I maintain that Shelley Farley was responsible. After speaking at a dinner, National Council of Young Israel dinner in New York on March 15th, the Taylor Force Act was passed a week later. I don't think it's coincidental. I think it's real. I think she has tremendous ability, and New York and America and Israel will all benefit from her abilities. Now we're on the steps leading to the Cave of the Patriarchs. And what did you think about the Cave of the Patriarchs?
Incredibly impressive. I cannot believe that King Herod built this, 2,000 years ago. I mean, it's absolutely spectacular. It's a feat of engineering, and as an engineer, that meant quite a bit to me. But it's very inspiring to go in there and to actually be able to pray at the tomb of Abraham. I thought it was great to come here. Absolutely.
So you're telling all Americans to come here too. Absolutely.
The second holiest site in all of Israel.
Right. So we're very happy that Shelley Farley can be in Hebron, and from Hebron to winning the election in November. Here we go.